Determined to achieve gender equality in all areas of life, starting within the ranks of our own movement, in every structure and in every program.
These words coming from the ruling party's leader at its policy conference in July. But the ANC's top 6 nomination list tells a different story and shows a disturbing trend: the exclusion of women from key leadership positions. Nomvula Mokonyane and Phoebe Potgieter are the only women nominated for the role of Deputy Secretary General. Despite this, the ruling party wants us to believe that it takes gender equality seriously.
Political patronage happens through patriarchy. And if you are outside of those patriarchal networks as a woman, and you are not a woman who is favored in those networks, you are most likely not to be selected in these sorts of processes. And it's still a reflection of how patriarchal the ANC is and how it devalues women's leadership.
One young woman within the party is concerned at the lack of representation within its organization.
We have a lot of work to do in the run-up to conference, because we're going to have to really balance that out, either with nominations from the floor, but also seriously introspect about why the political system, and this is also not just about the ANC, this is generally, why the political system continues to churn out the same kind of men. Is it reflective of the general society in South Africa? No. The majority of the country is young. The majority of the country are, in fact, women. And so when you get a nomination process in this manner, it does beg the question, even as a young person in the ANC, what are we doing to really ensure representation?
The ANC's Gwen Ramokgopa says gender parity will be enforced within its National Executive Committee.
The gender parity is for the totality of the 86. Policy conference recommended strongly that we look at 50-50, even at the level of officials. We're also looking at, the intergenerational mix, because the ANC acknowledges that for it to remain relevant for the current and future generations, there has to be other generations that come through.
But just how important is it for the ANC to have gender equality in its top 6?
There is a need for representation within the top 6 itself. I think the ANC, firstly, must stop the pseudo-feminism. All of it will really need a radical new shift. And I don't think this radical new shift is going to come from the old regime in the ANC. It really must come from the bottom.
So the question remains, if the ANC can't get gender parity right within its own ranks, can it really get it right in society? Slindalo Masigane, Johannesburg.